Hello my darlings, welcome. Anna, Alchemist of the Arts here, and I'm bringing you a reading for the eclipse season through summer 2026. Now, whilst I've said it's for that timeline, trust if you find this at a later time, there might be a message here for you. It could correlate in the future to this particular time in your life. You might be drawn to multiple readings at different times, so bear with me. I've got 3 oracle cards here with 3 crystals, 3 piles. Each one will have a slightly different message. I intend to use the runes to deliver this message, as well as this one card. I might add more if I need to clarify. But I want you to take a moment to pause, take a really deep breath, and just ask yourself, what is the most beneficial message I can receive right now to assist me with my current situation? Whatever is sitting on your heart, whatever is making your spirit feel restless, ask yourself what you're ready to hear, what is going to assist you, and I will go through the piles. Pile number 1, we have citrine, which is very good for attracting, for manifestation, for accumulation of wealth. Pile number 2, we have amethyst. This is a special piece of amethyst to me. This can speak of psychic connection, psychic protection, just connecting to your intuition. And for pile number 3, we have Iceland Spar, clear calcite, which, well, I have my own love of the lore of this crystal potentially, connected to being able to see for clarity, and is attributed to being the Viking sunstone that used to help them navigate when the sun was not visible. So take a moment, pause for as long as you need to. The timestamps will be below, and I will see you in your readings. Hi there, pile number 1. If you were drawn to this pile with the citrine crystal, then this is your reading. I'm going to place your citrine there. Now, you actually got 2 oracle cards. Don't tell the other 2 piles. Let's say them for you. You are joy and delight and navigating by the stars. So the first one says, open your heart to joy. And the second one says, follow your bliss. Now, those are very, very similar, but also sequential. So we have joy and delight, open your heart to joy, navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. When you open to your truest feelings, to your heart, when you actually allow yourself to feel what it is that you truly want from life, what does your body, your heart, your spirit, your soul say to you? What is it that you are called towards? Similarly, another way of looking at this sometimes, what is the grief that you carry of what hasn't happened, what hasn't come to be? What is it that you wish you could still do? What do you feel the absence of? Because that can sometimes inform us more easily, because we're so hardwired to feel and exist in our challenging emotions. Many of us see that as a permanent sort of determination of who we are, where we are, what we can achieve in our life, when actually that's very powerful information. That state, that feeling of grief, absence of loss, maybe about a situation, a job, a relationship, something that didn't happen, something that you haven't experienced yet, is the thing that shows you actually what it is that you do want. Those 2 things exist on the same spectrum. Having, not having, the thing exists the same in the middle. So ask yourself, what is it that you truly, truly want? When you open yourself up and say, this is what I want, the second question is, why do I tell myself I can't have it? Because navigating by the stars and follow your bliss, these 2 work beautifully together. We've got a card that seems very much like the sun. Then we have one that's very focused on the moon. What action can you take today that's going to help you move towards what it is that lifts you up, that lights you up, that makes you feel excited? If you could do anything, what would it be? I'm going to separate these two and I'm going to cast the runes so that we've got a bit more information of your specific message for this pile. And I do leave these. I'm sure you can see them all, hopefully. Just there we go. Make sure they are upright. That one's face down. Okay. There is a feeling of frustration here with Isa. Again, we've got Isa and Sevilla. So there is this idea of ice and sun, cold, and I don't want to say heat because sun is, the Sevilla rune is not necessarily related to heat. You have two fiery runes here that have come out together. But what this represents to me is this polarity, this separation in either how you feel about your life and the dreams that you have about your life, or your current experience and the version of life that you thought you were going to have. I think that is very much the message. You are being asked here to reconnect with your intuition, with Ansuz and Evaz in the reverse. Now, runes are tricky when it comes to reversals. I personally recognize the reversals as a reader only because they give me information in terms of what it is that I'm reading. I would say you are being asked to connect your intuition about the partnerships, the situations that you are in that are no longer fulfilling, that have now perhaps, it doesn't mean they've served their purpose, it's just that they're not bringing you the joy and the delight and the fulfillment that you were hoping that they would have done. And I say that because two of my favourite but potentially challenging runes have come out on the Joy and Delight card, which is Nathis and Kenaz. Now, Kenaz can represent very much this ecliptic energy of light being shone on something that has been long hidden, a truth that needs to surface within us if we look at it sort of emotionally, something that is rising up that needs to come to the surface, to be felt, to be expressed. And Nathis is need fire. This is that hunger. I like to think of it as soul hunger when we're using it in this way, the runes in this way for a reading. Now this is that soul hunger. What is it that you crave from this life? What does your spirit ask you to, that want you to have? It was interesting because I was saying, if you're not sure exactly what it is that you want, what is the loss, the longing, the grief, that starvation even that you experience for not having? That is very much these two energies right there, because that is revealing to you what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, what it is that you want to achieve, what it is you want to experience. And we see this definite ending of a cycle. This feels like an inward cycle, something where you have decided you are going to remove your energy or pull back your energy in some ways from the things that are no longer bringing you this joy. There is something new that you want to pursue. And it feels very much here with Ingvaz and Laguz. Yera, you are at the beginning stages potentially of making these changes. We've got Hagalaz here, which can be quite a drastic transformation at times. It can be the sudden loss or change that could have already happened. It could be in the process of happening. It doesn't have to be something that is feared. It represents a clearing away of the old, a necessary breaking down of something in order to create the space for the new to grow. So the question is, when something leaves, there might be grief, there might be heartache. We've got Wunya in the reverse here. It could be painful, it can be challenging. I'm going to come to this one because it's important. It's just like the outlier on its own. And Tivas as well. There could be an ending. But within this is the birth of a new dream. It does feel like a lot of grief weighing heavily on your heart. And it feels like there are things that potentially have been unfair, but you were being asked to use that grief, this potential unfairness, as the fuel that you need. So Velo is a catalyst. So I just said it's not typical sunlight. It can be lightning. It can be the moment of clarity that strikes you at 3 a.m. in the middle of your sleep and you suddenly understand. It can be the moment in a conversation when somebody says something and all of a sudden everything makes sense. It is that kind of inspiration that hits you sometimes like a bolt from the blue, and it's going to drive you in a new direction. And what I'm getting here is that this grief, this heartache, this pain, whatever it is asking you to now use it as information to understand, not to berate yourself, not to punish yourself, not to keep you there. This is a point of change. We have daggers, brand new cycle. If you've been in the downward trend of a spiral, or some of you might have been spiraling and thinking everything is going wrong. Sometimes that happens. That can be Hagalaz. That energy of these things just keep not working out. And sometimes the things that don't work out are your protection, are your divine justice, because what is coming when you trust that call of your spirit, what happens when you truly trust it and follow where you are being called and have faith that we take the actions, but we have faith that actually perhaps this wasn't meant for me. Perhaps this didn't align this time, but something is coming. Something I am moving towards, this dream, this goal, this vision, this relationship, whatever it is. You are moving in the right direction. We have Turisas here. Now there is this sense of protection and also forward movement, energy being put into action. So you could have been protected from something. It could have been a lot of disappointment, a lot of grief, a lot of loss, but there is energy here moving into action, into creation with Ingvars, into healing with Laguz. Laguz is also the essence of water, and water seems like water's always given this sort of passive meaning, but water will erode the stone over years just by being itself and staying true to its course. So it is not a passive energy. It's just not potentially as aggressive at times as maybe fire has a reputation for being. They're different energies. This one is persistent in your course. It is continually moving forward because this will show you the results that you wish. Equally, if things aren't working out, if you have expended a lot of effort and energy and things haven't worked out, then ask yourself, okay, what isn't working? There's a lot of questioning, a lot of introspection and self-questioning within this pile if you were drawn to this. And this isn't negative. It's not damning at all. This is literally saying where you felt stuck, where you felt blocked, where you felt like things haven't come together, the job didn't manifest, the relationship didn't align, whatever it is. This wasn't holding you back so that you would be stuck in this grief. It was potentially exposing the dreams that you still hold through the intensity of those emotions in order for you to realize with clarity how you want to travel, the direction you want to move in, and the action that you want to take. This is you having your power back and moving in a direction now that is what truly follows your bliss, that truly follows your dreams, what follows your highest vision of the life that you want to live. So pile number 1, I'm going to leave this here. I'll get an oracle card for you, just the one. But just a reminder that personal readings are available if you would ever like one. They're available in the drop box below, on my website and Etsy. I will never contact you about a reading, just in case. We have confidence and success. I love this, absolutely. I do feel like this is the manifestation of your success, and it comes from potentially a difficult time, a difficult chapter in your life. The confidence here is having confidence in your ability to have what it is that you want, to know that life is not betraying you. Trust that what is coming is going to be so much better than what you've experienced. And I'm noting that we flipped the Piarkan rune, Bacano, depending on the language that we're reading from the runes in. This is growth. If Ingvaz is the seed, Bjarkan is the energy it takes to nurture the seed in order for it to grow. It's the energy of the mother. Whereas this might be the maiden, this would be the mother. So this is literally saying, nurture your dreams, nurture your vision, nurture yourself in order to see them grow, because that is the direction that you're heading in. And be confident, because it does feel like you are shifting from a very difficult chapter and moving towards this realization of the vision, the dream, the things that you actually want to follow. So I will leave this here for you, pile number 1. Thank you for sharing this time and presence with me. I will be back towards the end of Eclipse season with another reading. And if you'd like to reach out for any reason, you can contact me on my details below. Take care. Lots of love. Hi there, pile number 2. If you were drawn to this pile and this is your reading, you were drawn to the amethyst crystal today. This one is in particular very special to me. There's a very strong sense of protection here, but also connecting to the higher self, to the intuition, to the higher realms, which provide us a different level of information that we might need in life. So let's get your card. Unknown territory. Interesting. You're exactly where you need to be. Now that's interesting. We have an owl here. It's winter. You might feel like things have been difficult, not working out for some time. You might feel that nothing is working out. I'm just getting this feeling of, oh, here we go again. Another cycle, another eclipse season, another difficult chapter. And it's almost just like, bring it on. But also this sense of challenge and almost frustration at where you are. So it's interesting that you were exactly where you need to be. Perhaps there was a lot of unanswered questions. I'm going to get the runes for you today. This can be a bit noisy, so what does pile number 2 need to know, please? Okay. Just going to move any that... I think we're good. So interestingly, you've got some similar runes to pile number 1. And a similar kind of vibe, but perhaps further down the line, if that makes sense. So if you were drawn to pile number 1, it might be worth going back and listening to it. What we have here, it feels like you want all the answers now. It feels like you want to know. You've been through a very difficult time. Things have not worked out for you. There are things, potentially multiple things, and you've been asked to have a great deal of faith in this frustration. It's like you've been pushing uphill. And that's been really difficult for you. I think you've realised somewhere along the way that what wasn't working out, what was falling away, was perhaps for your highest benefit. And whatever it was that ended here with Hagalaz, Pathra in this position, and Savilo, could potentially have been the thing that you needed in order for you to restore your own energy. You've realised at some point that there were things that were going on that were making you very unhappy. And within yourself, there is this dream, this vision, this idea of something that you knew you wanted. And you do feel connected to your intuition. You do feel connected to this dream, to this vision. This isn't something new. You are aware of this. But the question here is, how do I take the action when everything feels like it's not working out? And every time I push and I try, it's just like pushing water uphill. We have Laguz in this position. Now, arguably, again, I said to pile number 1, the runes, when I read them, I take note of their position, but they're not necessarily, that's quite a modern interpretation of runes with reversals, so I'm always mindful. For me, Laguz in this position is literally saying that there is resistance on the path, and you have been pushing against this resistance. You are incredibly strong here with Uruz, but that strength as a driving force into things that perhaps are misaligned is going to bring you this sense of not being fulfilled. when things don't come together. And it does feel like here with Ansuz, with Isa, with Yera, with Dagas, these 4 runes here are literally saying to me, what hasn't worked out has been, I think on one level you know this, because it's answers. I think this pause with Isa and answers of what hasn't worked out has given you time to gain the emotional clarity, because it feels like when you get going with Sowilo and Uruz, Turisas, when you move, when you commit, when you put your energy into something, you are fully committed, locked in, and you will just keep going. But when something is misaligned and you do that, and you've probably done this in the past, it drains you, it depletes you, it actually takes you away from your mission, from your highest path. So what you're being done, what has happened here, it feels, is that your energy has been pulled away from the things that haven't worked. I'm getting such a strong Taurus energy. I know it so well. And it's the Oryx, it's the Uruz rune. It's an ancient, representative of an ancient beast, the Oryx, which doesn't actually exist anymore. When you commit to something, you just put so much energy into it. You drive so hard to commit to it, to complete. You're incredibly loyal. And the problem that we have is that some of these situations didn't deserve your loyalty. Here with Tivas in the reverse. People might have not treated you fairly. You could have been doing far more work than you were receiving back. And I don't think that's necessarily you were doing it to get a reward or anything like that. I think it's more that you were doing this and it was draining you. So the shakeups that have happened, the changes that have happened have been in order to bring your energy away from the things that were draining you, that were non-reciprocal, that weren't working out, that were potentially misaligned. And that is pulling all your energy back into this space that might have felt very undefined. You're like, well, I've got all of this energy now. What do I do with it? Where do I go? What do I do? And this is going to be the challenging part for you, pile number 2, is that you need to take this rest. Allow for these energies to move. Allow for your vision of the world to move. As you bring this energy away from whatever it was that wasn't working, bring it back to yourself. Feel it. Oh, okay. This is what it's like when I can make these decisions. This is what it's like when I have this time because I'm not giving it to all of these people. This is what it's like when I can suddenly focus on what I want. I've got my hand on my heart right now. This is that feeling of suddenly taking a deep breath and going, oh, now I have the space. Now I have the clarity with Cirilo, which is here. Now I have that bandwidth mentally, physically, emotionally to decide what it is I want to do. And this is a rare and very poignant turning point, because you realize when you've stopped investing in all of these things that have been draining, depleting you, non-reciprocal, haven't been fulfilling your highest purpose, or I appreciate that's a lordy kind of expectation for anybody, but that spirit sense of this is something that I'm good at. This is something I know I'm here to do. This is me giving my energy back to others and I'm appreciated for it. You know, I'm doing good here. This is you when you go, oh, okay. And it might feel like a very different experience for you to not be go, 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 push, 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 force, force, force. You're being told to take this time, to pull the energy back and to trust this pause. You are exactly where you need to be. And breathe. And breathe. Meditate, journal, reflect, whatever it is that you do, pile number 2. And if this is completely new to you, try one of those. Maybe try just taking a really quiet moment and sitting somewhere outside and just allowing yourself to feel, to think. You could be amazed at the energy that comes through, the ideas that come through, the truth that comes through from yourself when you are not distracted. Listen to it. Take stock of what has been working and what hasn't with Yira, because a new cycle is about to begin for you. And we already know that when you commit, you're fully locked in. So allow this time, allow this sacred time, this chapter, this season, whatever it is in your life, where you breathe and you really reconnect with who you are, what it is that you actually want, this vision, this goal, this idea, this dream, before you allow it, before you commit your energy to it in order for it to go. Because when it does, it's going to go and it's going to be amazing. But this is a momentary change, a momentary phase. I'm going to get an oracle card for you to close out your reading. Pile number 2, if you would like a personal reading, they're available at the links in my description box below. I will never contact you to ask to do a reading, so please be mindful of anybody that does that. We have grief, yeah, and silver linings, absolutely. I knew I needed to. Grief is a slow process of transformation. You see, you carry it upon yourself, and that's not something that necessarily goes away, but there is beauty, the silver lining that you perhaps haven't seen yet, that is going to come from this pause. It might feel slow. This might irritate your spirit. I'm also getting Aries energy now. This might irritate your spirit in that you aren't you know, like on the go, moving, but you're being asked to trust. Even if this feels slow, you are moving. This is movement in the right direction. There is no point in pushing hard in the wrong direction. That just repeats the cycle. And another lesson, you're taking this time and you're having this pause because there is a real dream here that is going to start coming to life. This silver lining from this process that is going to move you exactly where you want to be. And you will know when it's that right moment, because things will just move. Things will move with ease. My mum used to say, grace and ease, grace and ease. And that was like her favorite thing, because of my personality type and astrology and all of those things. She would say grace and ease, and I just hope that it moves with grace and ease. When things move gracefully and easily, you know, you feel it, stuff aligns, the person reaches out, the opportunity comes in, the job comes together, you know, all of those things, the project's completed, the right people become interested in it, the job is available, the perfect job opens up, you know, somebody approaches you for it. That's the grace and ease and flow in this situation. And I feel like that is the thing that you need to trust now. You don't have to force things to fit you, to feel that sense of success. The right things are going to flow to you when you believe that you are following your highest path, even if it seems unclear right now. Right, I'm going to leave this here for you, pile number 2. As I said, if you'd like to contact me, my information is below. But thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I love you dearly, and I will be back again before the end of Eclipse season with another reading. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you were drawn to this pile, then this is your reading. Now, you got the Iceland spar, the clear calcite, and this is reportedly the stone that was used by ancient seafarers from the medieval Iron Age in Scandinavia, Vikings, to hold up to the sky, and you would be able to successfully locate the sun and therefore be able to navigate even in the worst weather. And I think this is poignant for you because it feels very much like you have been trying to navigate through something that is incredibly difficult. So let's get your card and then we'll get your runes. Breaking trail, a breakthrough is at hand. Yeah, you might have had to take a very different path to the one that you anticipated. You might have had to travel a path that has been incredibly difficult. It wasn't of your choosing. It's just something that you've had to do. And within that, you've had a lot of lessons. You have had a lot of challenges that you have had to overcome. And again, they just keep saying to me, you didn't choose this. You didn't choose this. These were not necessarily choice-based difficulties. These are things that you have had to actively react and respond to, which have made life pretty difficult. That's heavy energy. It's heavy energy, but the clarity is coming. And I think this is the important part of this. There is a way through, a breakthrough. That there is literally a breakthrough happening now for you. Look at the runes and see what they have to say for you, please, for pile number 3. I'm just going to bring them in a little. Oh, it's okay, it's Isa, so it's the same. Now, you do have some differences to pile number 1 and 2, but they all connect. I'm going to say that. All of them connect. And I mean, I really shape these runes, but there's some similarities here. It's taken a lot of resilience. This resilience, this determination, this feeling of frustration and potentially lack and not having that you've been experiencing. You're not going to like this, but it has been an insane amount of character development. You have grown as a person. You have grown spiritually, intellectually, emotionally. You have truly developed. But you are feeling the sense of frustration. And I think that you are equating how hard the journey has been to the fact that you have been doing things wrong. Now, it could be, and this is kind of similar to pile number 2, where these cross over. It could be that you have spent an awful lot of time investing in or putting energy into something that you have now outgrown. Because we have Bjarkan here, Bakano. You could have outgrown a situation. We've got Hagalas and Ervas at the bottom. You could have decided, felt for a long time like it's time to move on. Like there is time for something new. Whatever hasn't worked out is abundantly clear to you now. And it feels like you have taken the action that you needed. You recognized where things were not reciprocal and also where things were reciprocal and moved towards them. And what you're doing here, you've got a beautiful collection of runes here, is you're being asked to very, how do I say this, confidently, assuredly, this is you developing what I call a feedback loop within your life, within the actions that you take. So when you approach a new situation, a repeating situation, a job, something that you go to on a regular basis, a relationship, a type of exercise or activity that you've been doing. Now, if you're suddenly not seeing the results, if you are not receiving the energy back reciprocally, if things aren't coming back to you for the energy that you're giving out, something about that is potentially imbalanced. And that's not to say it's wrong. Excuse me. It's not to say that you've been doing it wrong. You might well need to communicate this with somebody else or with yourself. But it feels like you're being asked to develop this feedback loop of where you are investing your energy, where it then feels stuck. And up here, we just have a whole lot of stuck with Isa, where it seems to go nowhere. And then when it seems to be reciprocal, the energy is flowing back to you for the energy that you're putting out. And then you find yourself lighting up energetically, emotionally, spiritually. You are receiving the inspiration, you're receiving the ideas. The energy flows back to you because it's not draining you. And things flow. Things move easily. With Yera, Lagus, Vilo, Gibur, Turisas, when you put energy out into the world, into an action, you invest it. Okay? Gibur is the rune of, people simplify it to love, but it's actually reciprocal energy. What you give, does that flow back to you? Does that return back to you? Or are you over-giving? Are you over-investing? Are you putting energy into something that does not move? This could be a business. This could be, like I said, a workout. I keep getting workouts. So for some of you, this could be health-related. If you're just doing the same thing on repeat out of duty, because we've got Urus here, but it's keeping you stuck, this is what needs to change. And I think you know it. And I think this is why you are breaking the trail and having this new way of like this inspiration, this catalyst of, okay, well, that isn't doing it for me anymore. It's okay to acknowledge your wants and your desires. I'm sure we had Nauthiz. Yes, we do. Nauthiz here. Nauthiz is need fire, soul hunger. What is it that you crave? What is it that you want? What is your spirit saying to you? Is it because we keep getting health? Is it the body? And I just looked over and I've seen the garnet, and the garnet literally relates to the body, to the blood, to the physical vessel and our life force. What is it that is you are calling towards, that you want to move towards? And equally, what is it that you feel like you're being held back from? Because within that is the wisdom that you need. And I feel like you have been very, very tense, like physically tense, muscles tense, in a sense of stress. And you're just being reminded, yeah, things are changing. Not every relationship, partnership, job, connection is going to be there for your entire life. And you're being told that, you know, there is a level of divine justice here, personal justice, with Tivaz and answers. I don't think you are connected yet to understanding this. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm getting anxiety here with the answers in the reverse. You might not see the higher purpose of some of what has changed and left your life. It could still be quite painful. But there is this moment of needing to pause. You could be in a lot of anxiety, sort of chest restriction, like wondering how this is all going to work out and not knowing. And yet you're being called to trust, actually, some of what isn't working out is not what you need to be focused on. Don't put your energy there. It's not to be cold or to not care or to not grieve what is going. But where is it that you want to go? This character development, it feels like a bit of a plot twist that you've been living through. And suddenly you find yourself in a very different place, as a very different expression of yourself. I don't want to say version of yourself, because that implies like there might be, you know, a hierarchy of you. This is the season you are, the expression of yourself that you're being right now. There will be, with all of us, traits within that are more beneficial and those that aren't. You're being asked to see clearly now what's working and what isn't. What version of yourself that you enjoy being, and what actually just feels like an old expression that you have outgrown. Who is it that you want to be? Allow for that vision to be inspired. I want to check this rune. What did I do in the reverse? Yeah. What's holding you back? What's restricting you? What's making you feel like you cannot move forwards? Anything that makes you feel like your dreams are not for you, are too big, especially when they keep calling you. Maybe you've been silencing that call with answers in the reverse. Maybe that you've just said, no, how is this even ever possible? And maybe you need a little bit more whimsy in your life, because we've got the Pethro rune here. This is pointing in the wrong direction. And for me, that's saying maybe you've lost the belief that things can change in a magical, beautiful way. You're being asked to look at the whimsy, look at the potential, the possibility. Where could you have more magic in your life? You know, think of it from a slightly different perspective. Ask your spirit team, your messages, your guides for a sign. Ask them for the magic. Ask them for the possibility. Ask them to, I don't know. I mean, you have your relationship with them, and if you don't, ask for a message. But you could ask them for a change. I'm always wary of that one, because that can be sometimes unexpected, and you have to be prepared that that change might be quite a massive catalyst that does happen. Not to be feared, because these things are always working for us, but yeah, there is more than a level of like this sudden transformation here, not quite seeing it. asking for that support, asking for that sign, asking for that situation to be revealed to you, asking for the clarity, for the truth, for the higher perspective. Ask for it to be revealed. You sense it, you feel it, you know that perhaps there is meant to be more than this, but you haven't quite grasped what it is that you just feel this shift in direction. And whilst that can feel disorienting, it also feels really exciting. Okay, let's get an oracle card. And just as a reminder, I do offer personal readings if you would like one. They're available at the links in the description box below, and I will never reach out to you and offer you a reading if anyone does that. Oh. Be bold and make the first move. I'm going to take that one as well because it flipped. A new start is coming. Yeah, 100%. That's what we're feeling, isn't it? Be bold and make the first move. That's a pretty potent energy. The first move might just be you saying, enough, I'm done with this. The first move might be, okay, I'm going to try this thing. It's, okay, I don't feel like this is working for me. I'm going to do something brand new, especially if it involved like working out or something like that. That kept coming up as a theme. If it involves a relationship, an organization, a group of people that you're affiliated with, a group of friends, something where you're just like, no, I'm not here for this. This is not for me. Okay, honor that and try something new. Reach out to the person, apply for the job. There is a new opportunity coming. And like I said, if you feel like you don't have the clarity, ask for clarity, ask for a sign, because this is going to be revealed to you. This is going to begin to make sense. And your job right now is to trust what isn't working, to trust and acknowledge, be really honest with yourself about what isn't reciprocal, what isn't working, what doesn't feel right anymore, in order so that energy can be reinvested into something new that does feel more aligned and more beneficial for you. Okay, pile number 3, I'm going to leave this there for you. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love you very much, and I will see you again in another reading. You take care now. Bye-bye.